All right, so let's get into some meme coins, some altcoins. Is this altcoin season, and what are some of the signs to be watching for? It's going to be a good one. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into Tech Path. Joining me as my co-host today is Jackie Dutton. Great to have you in.
Hi, thanks so much, Paul. I'm really excited to be here.
So Jackie, I know you run a pretty cool Twitter channel. If you guys have not checked out Jackie before, all you have to do is jump over to Jackie Dutton, the Jackie Dutton, right there. You can get a little bit of her useless crypto news. It's fun. You've got some good pieces that I always get a chuckle on. So it's great to have you on the show. Hey, Jackie, let's get into a couple of topics today, mainly around where some of the altcoins markets are starting to move. Some, of course, people are looking at, the traditional things that are indicators from trajectories, what the charts might see, all that good stuff. You look at a couple of things right now. This is one tweet out there. Altcoins, rare bullish signal for altcoin season that has not failed since 2016. So a lot of people looking at this and saying this is just the beginning. Here's my question to you. Do you think this is just the beginning of what we're going to see with alts? Or I guess, what's your opinion on this? Do you feel like Solana and Avalanche, you look at things like Render, are those truly altcoins, or do you feel like they fall more in the tech coin category?
I think that Solana in particular is a really interesting case. There's a shocking amount of utility on there, and we can talk about that later. But I think it does pack more of a punch right now than something like Avalanche. Also Cardano, like ADA, like where has it been? When you get into the ones that have been around for a while, like XRP, that you would hope to see be moving by now, that it's not following the same pattern as it has in the past. And maybe that's just a weakness of the other projects, and stronger projects have come and provided more utility and built more in the bear. But I do think that this is kind of the beginning of what we're seeing, and I hope it is. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
we've been waiting a while.
You look at the total 3 chart. I'm going to stretch this out for you guys just to give you, this is still on the daily, but I'm looking at the total 3 right here. So this is total crypto market cap for those of you that are new, that does not have Bitcoin and Ethereum in it. And if you look back, I mean, you can see this thing ballooned up to almost 1.3, almost 1.2 trillion in the last bull run. And here we are sitting at about 600 bill right now. And there's a lot more projects that have come to the plate. This is, of course, I feel like Memecoin season as well. Almost every week we're seeing a new Memecoin launch, explode, and then retrace. And the cool thing is they've got some good, blockchains to launch upon themselves as well. When you look at the situation around meme coins, first of all, what are the meme coins you like and why? What's kind of your lane?
So I'm definitely a big fan of basically anything on Solana right now that's been popping off. I saw Blast's launch the other night. That also got a lot of attention. People had staked, I think, ETH for Blast, and they ended up converting and then, aping into a bunch of stuff. I think Base probably provides a really nice chain for people to go play around on as well. But as far as low gas fees, a reputable chain, a backing asset that has, over 10x'd just within a year, I think you can't really argue with Solana. One that has surprised me in its lack of performance, however, is BNB and the Binance Smart Chain. I mean, it just feels dead. Usually, come last bull season or in the last bull season, there were things popping off all over the place. It was kind of the cheap chain and the answer to the gas fees on ETH. And it really, I mean, somebody has signed a DNR. Like it's not going anywhere. It's not moving. There's no projects on there.
Well, I think that's been an interesting situation. One, of course, maybe some of the litigation issues that's happened with Binance. But more importantly, I think it's just the number of really good projects that have been able to launch. Whether you go in and look at what Avalanche has been able to do with gaming, you look at Solana and their ecosystem that now is starting to float quite a bit into the DePIN area, along with some AI tokens that have kind of taken over a little bit of the air in the room. I was just looking at BNB just in general as the token. It's been doing okay, but to your point, I remember a time in the last bull run where Binance pretty much had all of the new projects, all the cool kids were on BNB. Or on Binance Smart Chain. So I think I would agree with you. I think that has been one of the ones that has been a little bit underperforming for sure. What do you, okay, so let's take a look at a couple of things. I'm going to jump over to this tweet right here. And of course, this is the issue of Ethereum hitting 3,900. Dencun just around the corner in terms of a new project advancement with Ethereum. How big of a deal is this? And do you feel like this is the time to shine for Ethereum?
I do think it's the time to shine for Ethereum, not necessarily so much because of this Dencun upgrade, though, because didn't the London update, wasn't that kind of a nothing burger? Like, it didn't really lower gas fees that much. It didn't really help the chain that much. I respect Vitalik's innovation at every single turn. I think he's an absolute genius. But I don't know if this will be as impactful on the price the way that the ETH ETF rumors and
Right.
anticipation of that happening in May will actually be the catalyst for propelling it, far up above its former all-time high.
I'm looking at this chart right now on Ethereum. I mean, you just can't really deny this kind of growth if you go back just into February of where we've moved. And let me take a look and see what we've had here, just in that nice little move of where it is on this last green candle. 68% right now from February 5th. So here we are a month into seeing a pretty nice move on Ethereum. I'm a little bit more hopeful, I guess, with the fact that we've got a lower cost in terms of gas fees, because I feel like that is one of the big factors for adoption, for people to try something if they're going to get into an NFT or even buy an Ethereum meme coin. These gas fees are a little bit more of a deterrent than they are a help. So I think maybe the timing might be right. We'll see if the ETH team comes through with something big for sure. But I am interested in this. Speaking of that, you've got.
I
Go
also
ahead.
just wanted, oh, sorry. I just wanted to add, for as much crap as everybody talks about these gas fees on ETH, it's like people continuing to live in California. Gas is expensive, property is expensive, everything's expensive, but they still do it and they still spend money. So the people on that chain just don't go anywhere. They just seem to tolerate it.
Well, I think that's because you have such an adoption curve that has been going on for the last, really 2017, on the birth of ETH. And you look at how fast it has grown in that period of time. Maybe if you, fast forward and think about Solana in 5 years or 8 years, what does that look like in terms of just people really consistent with it? In terms of meme coins, and we'll get into that in a second, I want to talk about Dogwifhat. We'll talk a little bit about BONK. That's been going as well. Raul comes in. He says, hey, crypto timeline has gone from mid-curve debates about what is the superior blockchain technology to F it, it's a Dogwifhat. So this, of course, talking about WIF, which was a pretty good move and actually recovered a little bit after yesterday's fall. When you look at meme coin culture, and you look at meme coins being the gateway into adoption, do you feel that this cycle, this is the way that we're going to see new people come into the space?
I do think that the promise of buying $62 of a meme coin and turning it into 5 million ends up adopting a lot of people who are looking for that lottery scratch off, that Powerball Mega Millions type thing. I think that that does bring in small money. But in terms of legitimacy, big projects, venture capital, you're looking more towards projects that provided actual innovation and
Yeah.
something truly new to the case. So I don't discourage any amount of onboarding, whether it's the small $10 buy or the $10 million buy. And I think all of it's great for the space. But meme coins are here for a good time, not a long time, each individual one.
It's funny because one of the biggest investors I know, his first token purchase in the last bull run was Doge. And he entered on Dogecoin, got his beak wet, and then figured out, wait a minute, what's this thing over here called Ethereum? Oh, wait a minute, I kind of like Solana. Then this Avalanche thing, I'm curious about that. So they get going. And to your point, it is sometimes a good test for maybe small market, but I think it also could get some interest for people who are maybe a little bit more risk tolerant and they're willing to go out there on the limb and get into some of these. This was kind of interesting right here. CoinMarketCap gave Solana the Crypto of the Year award. So kudos to Solana, I guess. And then BONK comes in and gets the Meme Coin of the Year award. Would you have given it to BONK, or would you have selected somebody else?
For the year, yes. I think to launch when we were still basically in the bear and to build
Hmm.
the community they have and to stay resilient. And, they ended up being the reason that the Solana phone ended up selling out. It really was
Right.
kind of struggling for sales. And then it flew when they figured out it was worth more than the phone with the airdrop. So I think BONK wins it for the last year. Yeah.
I like it. That was a good strategy. I think that is one that was missed a little bit. And it was a little bit surprising to me to not see maybe the Solana Foundation and when you think about what's happening with Solana Mobile, maybe now the light is on for sure. I think we're starting to see so many airdrops that are packing into Chapter 2, which, by the way, if you guys have not connected to the Chapter 2 phone, make sure and do that. We usually leave a link down in the description below. So check that out. We're still on the leaderboard for that. Hopefully we can hold it. But my point is that I think a lot of companies are going to figure out airdrops are a new way to really get one kind of loyalty of different crypto projects and or get a chance to launch. Is there anything you've been watching in the market, especially around the airdrop strategy, that you really like right now?
Um, I don't know, not so much about the airdrop. I think it's cool that the collaboration exists, though. I think on that chain, how Solana created like all these projects that are connected. So you really got to know the ecosystem. I
Right.
think if more chains really did that, I think that would be so valuable for everybody. It would create a real family, kind of a real country out of a blockchain where you
Mhm.
see that you have all these different, areas that you can go enjoy and spend your asset.
Yeah. As you guys know, Whiff is one of my favorite, not for any reason other than it's just a cute dog. But it has surged 48% in the last 24 hours. Remember, this is one that took a nice correction down, so maybe some people were able to get in. There are some other notes out there on this. This was kind of a more of a serious note from Lynn Alden. Rally in Memecoin suggests that the Fed is not tight enough. When you look at macro right now and what people are spending on and how the market is going here in the US and the fact that we have these meme coins flying, I mean, what's your position right now? Do you feel like this is just indicative of what the market is getting ready to go into in terms of an altcoin season?
I think enough people understood buying low, and when they saw the price dip, they'd seen the proof in the pudding between, the fall of 2018 and then back up into 2021. So
Mhm.
I think enough people were able to actually make enough of a profit over the last year that they're willing to really risk some of those gains on something like this. I don't know if it's really even correlated at this point between the state of the US economy versus the crypto economy. It's kind of taken on a life of its own.
That is for sure. A couple other things. Meme coins had a big price increase last 24. Usually it's heralded as the last phase of these mini cycles in crypto. And we have seen that before. Do you think this cycle is different because of the ETFs, because of what we've seen with just awareness, possibly a regulatory framework coming down the pipeline that has shifted maybe how this cycle responds to the market this time? What are your thoughts?
I think there's several catalysts at work. I think a huge one being the upcoming election. We have no idea what the next administration is going to do or be like if it gets to change. Obviously, we know what it will look like if nothing changes in
Right.
November for us. It will be more of the same, and more people making all kinds of lovely claims, like Elizabeth Warren, that it's just for criminals. But
Yeah.
I do think that the potential for things to go back to the way that they were between 2016 and 2019 of the glory days of Hester Pierce and her SEC, that was lovely, and crypto basically just got left alone. So while I do think that there's some uh you know I think there's a lot of uncertainty, and I think that uncertainty has made great room for a lot of plays for people to take advantage of this year, and I think the cycle's just going to keep going through that until we really know.
Well, I think the other scenario we have to consider, macro has been one of the bigger contributors to maybe how this cycle started, because in many cases, people were kind of looking at the Fed fund rate as being one of the kickoff points, thinking that we were going to see some rate cuts. Now, Chair Powell was just on today with Congress. Does not look like it. looking harder and harder that maybe we may not even see it coming in May. And if things pushes into June, I can't imagine that they would do a rate cut after June just because of the situation, because of the election that you mentioned. So it doesn't look like it's politically charged. So we're going to be watching that one for sure around how that goes. As far as the markets overall, guys, Bitcoin, of course, now moving back into 67K territory, almost recovering from yesterday's little snafu. And then, of course, all-time high. My question is, does Bitcoin just go ahead and blast through this all-time high of 69.2 and just continue on its merry way? What are your thoughts, Jackie?
I don't think yet. It just feels like there's a little bit of choppy time, maybe, you know, a couple more weeks, maybe another month or so. And in the last cycle, we tapped an all-time high twice before
Yeah.
finally going all the way through. So it
That's
took a
true.
minute, but I mean, I'm patient. It's fine. We're here. It's been good.
Yeah, ETH has got a nice candle though brewing right now. This might be its 4K week. We'll see how it blows up. If it continues to move, it has been one of those laggers too. It's a little bit slow, but it seems to be responding, which is very indicative of past cycles. If you think about what Ethereum did in really the last two cycles. So it's going to be one, of course, that we're a big fan of. Others that we watch, of course, is Solana, Avalanche. We'll continue to kind of keep an eye on that. But anyway, Jackie, good to see you. Thanks for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You bet. All right, so you guys are tuned in, maybe not in the Diamond Circle just yet. Make sure and get in right now. All you have to do is visit our link down below. It's going to take you over to our website. You can join right there, and there's a couple of things you'll get. You'll get our email, and you'll also get an access to our Telegram. That's brand new. It's only available for Diamond Circle members, so make sure and jump in that. Or catch me out there on X at Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.